Obviously, the season had to kind of go at a quicker pace because, Jeff Rake's original plan was 6 seasons and then had to truncate it. But thankfully, you guys were able to come back and finish the story. As a viewer, I didn't feel like it was super jarring, but like, I don't know, for you guys, when you were reading the scripts and acting it out, did it feel like a little quicker? Was it hard to keep up with?
The surprise for me was the time jump, but in a way it was kind of liberating because we got to have a fresh start in like a completely new space with a new set of goals. So it was kind of like starting the show again, which was fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I was like, oh, 2 year time jump. I can like be over, like I can gain like 10 pounds and it's fine.
Jeff asked us, how would your character change, physically in two
Mm.
years? And I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I was like, she's just a drunk now, I guess. She's drunk now, I guess.
That was so sad. It was a very like quick shot, but I was just like, oh no. But also, I don't blame her because I mean, you're
Yeah.
literally not sleeping. Vance is yelling at you yelling at Sanvi to go to sleep. Yeah. Well, that's great. Speaking of flashbacks, first I'm gonna ask Daryl. I think all the characters had flashbacks except Vance. I don't know if you can say if one is coming in part two or like because Vance hinted that his wife left him, which is just so sad. So I don't know. Are we getting more backstory about
I
Vance?
never thought about that until this moment. You mentioned it to me. My God, you're right. I'm the character that doesn't get a flashback so far. Let me see if is there a way for me to answer that. I think the best thing for me to say is that in this second half, you're going to find out more about Vance's relationship with his family and the toll that this has taken. But I guess the closest thing you come to a flashback is what you just alluded to, the reveal that we had when he's in the facility with Ben and Egan, and he talks about the fact that his family is broken apart because of this.
Yeah. Parveen, it was, I mean, your character was kind of like on an emotional journey the whole time, but especially those flashbacks like really pull at your heartstrings. So, what was it like for you to kind of tap into those emotions?
I mean, I think because such a big part of my character's function on the show is information and moving the plot forward and kind of the science and the jargon element of it. So it is always a pleasure and always a treat for me, like me as an actor, to get to explore more of the emotional themes because those are the themes that I actually understand. I don't know what the heck FDR hoo-ha and the what in the sapphire and the I don't know what any of that is, a high frequency what, like I don't know, I do a little bit of research online, but it's hard to connect to that. It's a different challenge as an actor. So for me, anytime I get to do something emotional, I'm almost like foaming at the mouth to get to do them at all. So it's always a pleasure. I got to do one of the flashback scenes with Josh for his episode, and so that was really nice because you're being directed by an actor, and those are the scenes that you want to have someone like that in your corner.
Yeah, for sure. How's Josh as a director? I was gonna say as an actor, as a director.
I mean, it really it suits him. Like he just lit up. It really, yeah, it's like he put on the director's hat and that hat just fit him so well. And you could just tell that he was like thriving. Like it was just like this is the sandbox that he wants to be in, so and that's infectious. So
You could tell. I mean, Josh is first of all is a great director to work with because both he and Melissa learned the technical things that they needed to learn, but they're both great actors and they both speak great acting language so they can communicate to you what you need to do to make the choices that you want to make in the scene. But the difference between both of them, Josh, every second of it that you looked at it, you could tell that he was having complete fun. He was having so much fun. And the thing that surprised me about Melissa, which is the same thing that surprises me about, all of our women, compared to me, they're all very young. She was supremely confident. She was supremely confident. There was there was a scene that I did not understand what the hell I was doing. And I went over to her and I asked her, and she just bit, bop, boot, bam. Okay. And she was completely right when I played it. So I was just astounded at just how confident she is as a young person. And she's meant to direct just like Josh. But Josh, he was like watching a kid in a candy store. So they were both wonderful from completely different points of view.
So great to hear. I think at Paley Fest, the way you answered that question, it was like she literally said like beep bop boop, and like
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that.
It's okay. It's apparently that's what actors' language is. All right. Yes. I learn something new every day. So in season 3, you guys obviously worked a lot together at Eureka, but like especially this season, you were really one-on-one, and there were so many one-on-one scenes together. So what was it like to spend like even more time together for you guys?
It was awful. Actually, Daryl, I wish we had a PS5 on set.
Yes. We both have PS5s now. So
yeah, Daryl hooked me up with a PS5. So now I'm like, oh, we would have had so much fun. We could have just played video games in between. That would have been cool.
I adore all of my scenes with Sanvi. And I adore all of my scenes with Parveen. Mm. I adore my scenes with Parveen because I learned who would think that at my point in my career, I will be learning from someone? I learned so much from Parveen. First of all, she won't do anything on the set unless she understands what it's for, what it means. All those knobs that you see her turning, she will grill people to find out what this does. What am I doing here? And she won't do it until she understands exactly what she's doing. And that is such a luck, because a lot of times an actor, especially on TV, it's just go, 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 get it done, get it done, get it done. She won't do that. The other thing she taught me is that you can rehearse on TV when there's no time for rehearsal. Pull your partner aside and act, which is what she did with me. The reason those scenes work for me is that she says, well, let's just get together and rehearse over Zoom and just get it done. So she taught me that. I love working with Sanvi because Vance has 2 sons. He doesn't have a daughter. Sanvi is his daughter. And we travel the entire range of father-daughter relationships, the things that go great and you're proud of her. You try to help her when she's in trouble, and you tell her to go to sleep. It's a joy from both aspects.
Oh, thank you.
That was such a sweet way of putting it. Parveen, did you learn anything from Daryl during your time working together? Well, I'm sure you did, but like something that comes to mind.
Yo, why did you laugh?
I can't imagine learning.
Daryl has this ability of just making lines sound so natural and so it's just like ease. Meanwhile, I need to rehearse to make sense of the gibberish that I'm saying. And if I were to just kind of, the amount of effort it takes for me to be able to say a lot of that jargon and make it sound truthful and like natural is a lot of work. And Daryl, you do that very well. I don't know if you know that. I mean, you have the most iconic line in the series. I think we've taken impossible off the table.
Oh man.
That's the most, to me, that is it's chills. That even in the pilot, like the trailer, like that's it's you, it's your line. It's just your delivery on things are just, it's just legendary. You're just a legend, Daryl. I mean, come on, you must know that you're a legend.
I think the challenge that all of us have on this show is that the things that happen in this story are fantastic, and they're happening in the real world. And I think the challenge that we all have, and that with each other's support, we've all lived up to the challenge, I believe, is in internalizing it and saying, okay, how would my character react if this unbelievable thing happened? And I think that's kind of the strength of the show, or any show that deals with, you know, this kind of genre, that if you can look at these actors and if you can believe that they believe.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it. Like, there's just so much, especially like in a supernatural show, but that is the talent of you guys. And, you know, in your defense, Sanvi says a lot of things none of us would really understand, you know, unless you were actually a doctor or something. So you deliver it beautifully. Okay, speaking of doctors, I'm really mad at Dr. Gupta, and I love how Vance had to hold Zombie back. I always joke, like, if that was me, you know, Vance would not have been able to hold me back.
She did that. That wasn't in the script.
Yeah, actually they cut it out.
Yeah.
They cut it out, and then I made them put it back in. I found out that they cut that moment out because they thought it was too big. This I don't know who it was, someone on Netflix, I'm sure, thought it was too big. Like they thought.
Oh, that when you went after him, that was originally cut?
Yeah, I went in. Yeah, they in the edit they cut it out, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, you know, I called Jeff, and it was like my first big ask. I think it's my only ask of the entire season, of where I really kind of like advocated for myself and for Sanvi, and said, no, that moment needs to be there, because I mean, to be betrayed twice like that, you know what I mean? It's very loaded, you know what I'm saying? And I know that it was a big choice. I felt, you know, I was nervous, but that's just, you just are like, it's just the rage towards Gupta, but also the internal rage of how the hell twice this happened to me twice.
I'm shocked that they cut it, because I thought it was a perfect moment, and it was a moment that happened on the set. I remember you saying, "Look, I have to do something here. Something physical has to happen here." And that was great, because that gave me something physical to do.
I was going to ask, like, when you read that in the script, like, what was your reaction when you guys read that?
Like the reveal of Dr. Gupta?
Yeah.
Oh, like I was like air punching. No. Like, I think that's what happened on set, where I was like, I can't just stand here. I need to physically. I think I had a visceral reaction even when I read it.
There's nothing better to play than a betrayal, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And not only was it a betrayal, it was a betrayal with armed troops. I mean, it was such an invasion into our space. I loved it. It was so much fun to play.
Okay, so we leave off with the registry, thanks to Dr. Gupta, coming in, and Sanvi had to like destroy a lot of the research that they did. So again, I don't know if you can say, was all of it destroyed, or is there still some of it there?
Okay. I think we'll those are answers that we're going to get. You're going to get so many answers in the second half. I think just about everybody's questions are going to be answered, and perhaps that's one of them. It's the scene where Ben shows up at the bird's nest, you know, and he looks like crap, and he's asking for another favor, and I kind of don't want to do it.
I love it when you play like such like reluctant Vance. Like, your face is so angry, but like, I'm gonna
Never
help you.
Never last. So easy.
I love it.
He's such a sucker. Such a sucker for all the stones, all of us. He just loves us too much.
It's true. There's that scene where you're asking me to do something about Henry Kim, you know? And I'm like, look, I just do the best I can. And you like say something like, yeah, Dad, why don't you try?
I'm like, it's the least we can do, Dad.
Yeah,
Go.
yeah.
Go.
Why do you think Vance is so dedicated? Like, I mean, he's so loyal to the Stones and to everything. And, it isn't until episode 10 where everyone finds out that, the end of the world isn't like just the death date isn't just for the passengers, it's for everybody. So I don't know, what do you think was like driving him to just keep helping?
I think that that Vance is so reality based. If it's real, you can see it, you can quantify it, you can measure it, and you can arrest it. Okay. And now through Ben and then his exposure to the Stone family and to Sanvi, he's learning that there are things that can't be quantified. And he held on to that belief through Eureka, and then suddenly Noah's Ark jumps up, and this is another one of those moments where he's discovering that callings are real. So I think that I have to, have this alliance and this allegiance to them because this is a world that I don't understand, that I cannot believe, and yet I know it's real. And they're my tether to it. And the other part to that is that I don't think Vance has been the greatest dad or the greatest husband. And he has discovered through adversity that he has this other family. He has Sanvi as a daughter. He has Ben as a brother, and I think that he'd probably never admit it, but that means a lot.
I have two more questions for you guys. First, did obviously you filmed the last episode and you guys are done. So where your characters end up, without giving anything away, were you expecting it or did it surprise you?
I was just trying to stay open to whatever it was. So I wasn't really letting myself go down any type of like, what if this, or you know what I mean? So I wasn't expecting it. And how did it make me feel? It made me be like, oh, that's the best way I could describe it.
I was completely surprised. And I was going through the script like this, going, okay. What? I was shocked. We did a table read, and then our director and our showrunner pointed out something that I had missed.
That's right.
And I was more shocked. So I think y'all are going to be rocked by the ending. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, Daryl, that thing that you missed was very shocking.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Our showrunner literally came up to me. I mean, our director of the episode literally came up to me. He says, "Dude, turn the page," and it was shocking.
Okay. Last question for you guys. What, we've reached the end. I'm not crying yet, but I will. So what do you guys hope viewers remember about the show or like take away from the show?
Ooh, I feel like our show has tapped into this sort of like magic. There's just this thing where everything just kind of works. And if it was any other show, I don't know if they could pull it off. So I hope it's almost like it just has this like je ne sais quoi about it, where you watch it and and all the places that it takes you and the heart of it, and then the mystery and the and the procedural aspects of it. It's like all these elements, you would think would start to maybe clash, but the cohesiveness of it all, I think, is really amazing. And I think it's something that we hadn't seen, which is why, I mean, I think, coming on to Netflix it was the best thing to ever happen to us because of the way it needs to be viewed. It needs to be binged, because it's just so all encompassing. You kind of just have to enter the world and stay in it for a period of time. You can't kind of come in and out. It's not that, but once you're in it, it's just so magical. And I've always, I mean, I watch it and I'm like, by like episode 3, like hooked. And I'm like, what happened? How did that? I'm hooked. I don't want to turn it off. Right. Like there's just something about it that's just, very special. And also, I think, excuse me, it's just really cool to be part of this longer conversation about where TV is going and how TV is being viewed, and being part of that conversation about being kind of this, our show was very much a marker of, it didn't work here in this space, but oh my gosh, it thrived in this space. And like, there's such a discrepancy. So what does that say about what do audiences want, nowadays? And it's really cool to be a part of that conversation.
I agree with all of that. And I would add that, every day on the set, all of us were aware that the reason we're back is that the fans of the show brought us back. And we, our writers and the actors, none of us wanted to give into, fan service. We didn't want to do that because we felt that would be cheating. But what we did want to do is to deliver the best possible story that we could for them. So nobody phoned it in, and that's one of the reasons that we were so aware that we had a responsibility to the people that brought the show back. So I think if you're a fan of the show, if you're a new fan of the show, if you've never heard of the show, watch the first half, and I think you're really going to be surprised, in love, saddened, horrified, and inspired by the second half.